Hey guys, it's that time of year, it's spooky season. And hold on to your hats everyone, we got plenty of treats and the odd trick in line for this week's video. But whoa, let's hold your horses a minute. Let's be professional about it. As we're all about helping you guys learn more about digital marketing and the automotive world. And we have a very special guest to take us through this next one. We need an explosion in it, don't we?
Today, we're talking about KPIs. Hi, I'm Beth, and I'm going to be talking to you today about KPIs, why they're important to you and why they're important to us. KPIs, what are they? Key Performance Indicators. We all know that attribution in the automotive industry isn't that easy. Let's say you have an ad on Google, but someone shops in your showroom. How do you attribute that click to that purchase? Well, that's where KPIs come in. When you can't measure a sale very easily, KPIs measure strong purchase intent. For instance, those who have clicked to reserve on your website or booked in a viewing with your car. When we can't measure from click to showroom purchase, these KPIs really help us optimize the campaigns and have a better understanding for you and for us what is doing well. Anyway, I'm going now. Goodbye.
Thanks as always, Beth. But before we get into this week's main topic, let's have a quick look at some of the releases that are happening this week. There's a brand new Range Rover coming out. There's also a flurry of new Mercs on their way, and they're the exciting kind. There's been an awful lot of buzz around the return of the SL name to the Mercedes lineup, but it looks like it's actually finally happening. The S-Class looks set to move closer to all electric as well, with the new S63 AMG variant heading towards a hybrid engine, boasting over 800 horsepower in its most powerful form. There's also a new 718 Cayman on the horizon, and no, not that electric one we keep banging on about in every episode. It's an even more aggressive version of the aggressive Cayman GT4, and it's known as the GT4 RS. The details are pretty sparse at the minute, but it's recently lapped the shorter Nürburgring loop a whole 23 seconds faster than the conventional GT4. Now before we get to the good stuff, we just had to throw in this story from an Italian icon. We've all seen the new Countach by now, and while some of us welcome that iconic name to the brand, some of us aren't that bothered. And there's one person in particular that really isn't bothered, and that's the legendary car designer Marcello Gandini. He's actually the man behind the original design of the Countach, and he wants you to know that he had absolutely nothing to do with the new Lamborghini Countach LPI 800-4. Catchy name, I know. In an extraordinary press statement, Gandini, who's 83 years old, appears to be tired of fielding questions about a car that pays homage to his original design. The story doesn't actually end there though, and he claims to be completely unaware of Lamborghini's plan to create a limited series of 50th anniversary Countach models, even though he took part in an interview with Lamborghini's design director. Although he was shown a scale model of the new car, he's far from complimentary about the end product. We just couldn't believe the absolute sass of this 83-year-old designer. But anyway, let's fire up this spook train. Being the week where brands literally bombard you with trick or treat emails or everything must go or you die deals, we wanted to talk about something far spookier. Ghosts. Now we're not talking about Casper the Friendly Ghost, or those weird videos you see on TikTok that are clearly staged with ghosts in them. No sir, we're talking about ghost cars. Insert shot of Christine. And it's not even Christine either we're talking about. Ghost cars are cars that were once found littered around Britain's streets, but are now facing extinction just like the dinosaurs. With the help of the brilliant website hownanyleft.com, we were able to see some models that you would assume would be immensely popular, but are instead almost fading completely into the woodwork. We start with perhaps a pretty obvious one, a Maserati. Often bought by people who like to tell people they own a Maserati, the Italian brand has some truly impressive cars. And with the all-new MC20 currently raising a few eyebrows, there is some hope for the historic name. They have, however, made some pretty dreadful models. The Ghibli, perhaps. This might be one of their least successful cars to date, and when it was first launched back in 2014, it was recorded that just 201 models were actually registered, which then rose to 434 models a year later. Now we understand that Maserati isn't exactly a cheap car, but the market for a stylish and powerful super saloon is most certainly there. All you got to do is look at the S-Class, the Audi A8 and the BMW 7 Series. They all perform well in that market. But let's bring it back to 2021 And can you have a guess at how many examples of the Grand Lusso V6 diesel in automatic form were actually registered this year? 200 maybe? 50? A little bit warmer. And I'll let this one sink in. Two examples were sold in 2021. And I know what you're thinking, Elliot, don't be so stupid, that model must have just been released. You're wrong! It was actually released in 2019, with the petrol version selling a stonking 10 examples that year as well. So who's going to be the first to track down the owners of such a fine specimen of Maserati? Alright, so we might be a little harsh to pick on the big expensive cars. So let's go for a bit more of a budget car this time. The Mazda MX-5. Stylish, quirky, steeped in a rich history of being one of the finest handling sports cars ever made, and sold in the millions worldwide. So naturally we're not talking about this one today, we're talking about its ugly cousin. So what exactly did a Abarth do to ruin all of that success? The cars actually share much of the same components, but the Abarth isn't anywhere near as acclaimed as its Japanese rival. Just 1,124 Spiders have been registered in 2021 so far, but the alarming figure here is actually from a model we've never even heard of. It's called the 124 GT, and it's essentially the same car but with a smart looking hardtop fitted to it. Perhaps it's due to a lack of customer uptake or simply a lack of marketing. There have been just 18 examples registered in the last 3 years alone. Spooky, I know. Now let's get some raise and head to everybody's favourite supercar company, Ferrari. The cars get faster, the technology gets better, and the price tags keep increasing. That doesn't stop lifelong fans of the prancing horse from getting those orders in. Cars like the FS90 and the F8 Tributo have actually performed really well from the brand, but there are some models that didn't perform quite so well. And we're talking about the GT4C Lusso, a 4-seater, mile-munching 4-wheel drive supercar that could be used in pretty much any weather or any terrain. Looks-wise, it's pretty subjective. I personally love it, but I know Euan behind the camera here absolutely despises it. And it seems we aren't actually the only ones that disagree. The V12 variant actually performed pretty well since its birth in 2017, having over 200 examples registered. But it's this slightly less exciting V8 brother that's actually the problem child here. Just 94 models have been registered in 2021 alone, meaning the end will be near for this unusual model fairly soon, we feel. To give that figure some perspective, the newly released Roma has already seen over 120 registrations in 2021 alone. Not great news for the Lusso. As always guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode and stay tuned for next week where we bring you more news from the world of automotive and tech. Take care.